This week my favorite spider is my Pterinochilus murinus, the orange bitey thing, orange baboon spider. It took me about, I don't know, about a week for me to find all the things in this that I really wanted it to have in it. Since they will burrow, but they're not really like a burrowing species, they usually hide under rocks where they're from. I figured I would try to simulate that, looking at as much information as I could find online. And this seems to be like the similar spot that they're always found. It's kind of like a red soil area that has a lot of rocks and dead kind of foliage and different kinds of bushes and stuff. So I'm actually really proud of this one. I added some black fine aquarium gravel. It's one of my favorite mixtures in substrate. It gives a really nice shine to it. It's reusable, not in this scenario necessarily, but it can be reused. It's like a silica based product similar to glass. You kitty? And yeah, anyways, this is a Hobby Lobby large model car container. I use a drill spinning backwards, so don't do like the main regular way you drill into wood. You'll break these. So what you do is you put it in reverse as fast as you can go, and it'll melt the hole with friction, and you're less likely to break or crack the plastic or acrylic. That's what I've learned over, the years. This one is burnt with a soldering iron, and it's not my favorite. I think the holes are too small, and for the amount of fumes that you get, it doesn't really seem worth it. Although they seem like they are very supported. They're self-supported because the thicker plastic. Anyways, I got this female from Shane Selva, and he did have her sexed by himself with his microscope and stuff. What's really cool is that he has a really good microscope, so he can tell when they're fairly young. Like, he's getting really good at it too. So, smart guy. That way you can sell, your spiders for more profit because they're female. I do believe this girl is probably 2 years old now. She was a good size when he gave her to me, like 1.5 inches, or almost 2, somewhere around there. And now she's probably 2.25. She's a good size. From what I heard, Pterinochilus murinus is actually a fairly long-lived species. Similar care to green bottles or dry area Aphonopelma species. So 15 years is not not something that would be hard to achieve. Like most of the dry species around the world, they do live longer than the tropical species. I don't know if that has something to do with conservation of water and nutrients like tortoises. I wish I had a gimbal, but God, it can't not be on my top 10 list, and probably in my top 5. They're so underrated, and they're one of the spiders that are very beautiful, but as a breeder you couldn't really make money off of them because they are a higher venomous, more venomous species than most tarantulas. Even as old worlds go, they are pretty damn venomous and feisty. This isn't something you'd want 1 million people to have, although that would be neat as spider folks. These are spiders that will, they can hurt people physically at least, and give the hobby a bad reputation. So not one that I would ever recommend, even though they're so gorgeous. But as the more experience we get, this is one that you have to have. I'm sorry, I'm shaking. I'm zoomed in and that doesn't help. It kind of magnifies it. I just fed her a super worm. I feed her once a month, so I'm not in here feeding her all the time. So, a nice fat superworm that's fed with, if not nothing, a good thing to feed your tarantulas are actually the molts. That's, people are like, oh, like they can get a taste for your tarantula. No, it's the chitin that's their exoskeleton's made out of, is the exact same thing that the superworm's exoskeleton's made out of. So it's kind of like how humans, in their calcium, people think that, we need calcium because of our bones and stuff. They need chitin for their exoskeleton. So, and it's not going to make a difference. They would eat your spider regardless, these I have mealworm beetles in here too, but these flunkers orange cubes, they're everywhere, and they are a very safe thing to feed your spider. They are low in calcium. Most things are right on calcium, like they'd even do it the first ingredient. So not enough to compact your spider. I've never had an issue with this, and no one that I know that uses these have had issues with that. They're also full of vitamins. So on like a short, like if you don't really have like things that you can feed your spiders that aren't organic, because I would recommend organic nutrients at all costs if you can. And she just put her butt away. Organic nutrients or foods that don't have pesticides, and the pesticides that are designed for like pests are the same kind of pesticides that will hurt tarantulas because of their way that they utilize chitin, and it blocks their absorption for I think it's nitrogen. Don't quote me on that, but it makes them have a really bad deficiency that affects all of the main production of cells and whatnot. It's bad stuff. But anyways, I'm glad that I could show that off. Have a good rest of your night.